Okay, everybody, here it is, pasilla pork with a calabacita, or what calabacita is. It's a squash pretty much. It looks like a zucchini, but I ain't got that. So what I'm using today is I am going to use a zucchini, but we'll get to that later. Right now, I'm going to explain my pasilla sauce and how I make it. So what I got in this bowl here is I got two, good size. These were dried pasilla peppers, the pasilla ancho. These are not very spicy peppers at all. And what I did is I just put them in a bowl with a cup of hot water and I let them soak in there for about, I don't know, 25-30 minutes, that we, until they can get soft again. And the only thing I ain't putting in here is the stems of these chiles. I took the stems out, but all the seeds and everything else is in there. And what you want to do is before you put them in your water to soak, run them under some water and wash them a little bit, because we're going to use the water that they soak in as well in this sauce. And so that's what I got here. In case you're not familiar, I use the pasilla anchos. They are the El Guapo, the good looking ones, the handsome ones. This is the ones I like. All of this type of seasoning that I use, it is this brand name, the El Guapo. So what they are, I just got two of them in here. And I'm also going to use the Mexican oregano. It is also the El Guapo brand. I'm going to use that in there. 3 medium-sized tomatoes, or you could use just a really big one, like a beefsteak tomato. Just use one of them if you got it, or not. Just 3 of these tomatoes here. I got 1 cube of the caldo de tomate. It's a Knorr. It's a bouillon. It's a chicken bouillon with tomato flavored in there. I'm just going to use one of them. That's what it looks like in the box. You can see caldo de tomate. And I also got three medium-sized cloves of garlic chopped up. And in here is cumin seeds. I'm going to use about a half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm in my little Vitamix here. This is clean. It's just, these things get old, so they get really cloudy. And I don't even bother cleaning it because I know it's clean. So I got my chiles, my pasilla ancho chiles. I'm going to throw them in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and dump all the water off. The water's going to turn a nice, really dark red color. And you'll see all the seeds and everything floating. I'm going to throw these in here. All that liquid in there. And so these chiles, they are not very spicy at all. So if you take the seeds out of these chiles, they're probably not going to be any spice at all. But now the way it is, it's just like I don't know, I guess you call it a little bit over mild, maybe a medium. For me, it's hard to tell because I like really spicy food. And in there, I'm going to throw the bouillon cube, the caldo de tomate. And then I'm just going to quarter the tomatoes, just like that. Put them in there. Pulp, the seeds, everything goes in there. Going to throw the garlic in there. Put that in there. Now here's the cumin seeds. I reuse jars. So this was, I don't know what this was, some kind of raspberry fruit spread that I don't know where I got it from. But just a half a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon of these cumin seeds. Or if you ain't got the seeds and you just got the powder, I'm guessing about the same thing, about a half a teaspoon. The seeds maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. So just between there, just put that in there. It's going to give that a nice little flavor. Close that up. And I'm also adding in a half of a medium onion. These are sweet Walla Walla onions, and so they're very sweet here in Washington. But whatever white onion, you could even use a red onion, I guess, if that's what you got. But just a half of a medium one. Toss that in there. Take the oregano, and I'm just going to, that's about a tablespoon. That's what I'm going to put in there. And as you notice, I ain't putting salt in here or anything like that. As the bouillon cube, that is salty. The chiles themselves, they got a little bit of a salty flavor to them. And also we're going to cook this with pork, and so it's going to be a little bit more salt in there. So in here, there's going to be no salt in there. And so after you get all of that in there, put your cap on your blender. And turn it on. I'm not going to make you listen to all this stuff, but I'll just go ahead and mute it out. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, folks, the sauce is all blended up and in here. And so what I'm going to do now, I blended it for probably about 3 minutes. This is one of them Vitamix things, so they're pretty powerful. In just a normal household blender, it might take 5 to 6 minutes. But you just want to blend it until everything is is liquefied and everything is blended nice and well. And then you're good to go. So now that we got that mixed, I'm going to change stuff around here a little bit. And then I am going to come back. I'm going to show you how to do the pork and cook this and put it all together for just a fantastic tasting dish. So I'll see you in just a few seconds. Okay, folks, we are back. I've got a little different setup here. So we got our sauce right here. And in this bowl here, what I got is I just got these were pork chops, some nice fatty pork chops. You can see there's the fat on there. So I just cut them up in chunks like that. And the only thing that I have on this pork here is salt and pepper. I just salted and peppered it to my taste, and that's what is in there. Important, you need a stainless steel pan to cook this in, or something that you're gonna be able to make a nice fond with. You know, when everything gets stuck to the bottom and that good stuff. Yeah, so that's what you're gonna need. And I got that heating up. And in here, what I got is this is a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, cacao powder, and about a tablespoon of golden monk fruit sweetener. And we are already done with the salt, so I don't need that no more. And I also got over here, I got a strainer sitting on a plate because we're going to, when the pork is done, we're just going to put it in that strainer and let it sit there for we can cook the vegetables that go in there. And what I got here is I just got 1 medium zucchini squash chopped up. I didn't have any calabacita. I prefer calabacita, but I didn't find any today, so I just got a zucchini. I got a 1/4 of a white onion sliced up and 1 clove of garlic. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the grease, my jar here that I save all of my grease in. This is bacon grease. I make my own bacon bits, and so I just strain all that grease and put it in the jar. And that's what this is there, just a tablespoon of that bacon grease. Put that in there. I know cooking pork is pork, but yeah. Let me turn on this fan here. There we go. All right, so we got that hot now. That's nice and hot. Now we're going to throw this pork in here, and once the pork hits that hot pan, you just want to flatten it out on that pan, and then let it cook. We want to brown this pork. It's very important to brown the pork, because if not, it just don't taste the same. So we want to brown the pork. So just let it sit there and cook for a couple minutes on one side. And it's very important that the pan is hot, because if the pan's not hot when you throw your meat in there, it is not going to start frying it automatically. It's just going to do a steam thing, and the meat gets tough and dry. You want this meat nice and hot and brown. So you want to cook it on one side until it's nice and brown, and then when you get to that point, you can see, because it will start turning and it will release easy from the bottom of the pan. So don't stick today, go perfect. And just going to give it a good mix. Flip it over and let the other side cook. And this is all we're doing with this pork, is we're just browning it up real good. We don't want to get it all completely done, because we're still going to, after we get our squash and our onion and garlic in there cooking, making that fond on the bottom of the pot, then we're going to put the pork back in there and throw our sauce in there. So you can see the pork, it's got a nice brown on this side, but all the shadows. It's starting to brown up like that, and that's what we want it to do. So that's going to sear it, and it's going to help keep in the juices. Alright. And this is just a little bit over a pound, probably about a pound and a quarter, maybe a pound and a half. Alright, we got that browned up where we need it. So yeah, just get everything around there brown. And it's going to start, the bottom of the pan is going to start turning brown, getting that fond, that burnt stuff on there. And that's what we want. Alright, I'm just going to take it right here and just transfer it directly into the strainer. Or whatever you want to call them, colanders. I call them a strainer. You know, I got hillbilly roots, so we call everything a strainer. Ain't no colander. Like we call it a dipper, we don't call it a ladle. We call it a pancake turner, not a spatula, that type of thing. And so directly into the hot pan, we're going to throw them onions and this here garlic. And we're going to start sweating them down and get some more fond. This is going to continue to build on that flavor down there. And we just want to cook this for just for a couple minutes to get that fond going. Everything's pretty nice and brown, and the smell in here, woo! Yeah. Alright. There we go. I'm just going to show you, you can't see in there. I just got this phone, but you can see the onions, the brown, from all that fond down there. That's up on the bottom of this pan. I ain't got multi-views here on my camera. I'm looking at my iPhone. That's all it is. This is nothing fancy. Alright, got that in there. Now we're going to go ahead and throw the squash. Get that zucchini in there. And again, we're just making it hot. That's going to help build up the flavor profile. And this is where you want to have just about a quarter of a cup of water sitting out there. Or if you don't have water, you know, use a, there we go. I'll use a chicken stock, right? Just get that person like I get at Costco. And I'm just going to pour a quarter cup in here. What that's going to do is that's going to break all the fond off the bottom of this pan. That's where all that flavor's at. Alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and just, like I said, just put about a quarter of a cup of liquid in there, broth or water. There it is. That's what it's all about right there. Now we got a nice rich stock that is formed in this pan. It freed up all the burnt pieces off the bottom of the stainless steel pan. Put them all with the onion and the garlic and the flavor of the squash. And then of course you got the flavor of the pork in there. So now we got that all broke loose and turned loose. We're going to throw our pork back in there. Make sure all the juice gets in there. That's where the flavor's at. There's some left on the plate. I'm going to pour all that back in there. All the flavor. Alright, now you just want to give that a good quick mix around and get all that stock in there. Just coat the meat with it. Once we got that done, here comes the sauce. You know, you want to start with about half of it because you don't want too much in there. And you could always put this in a jar. That's what I got. I've got a jar right there already that's half full. I've made this before, but since I was going to make a video and show y'all how I do it, I'm making some fresh stuff and I'm going to add this into my jar. And then I put it in the fridge and save it for later. You know, you can use the same sauce to make enchiladas. It makes wonderful enchilada sauce. Or you put it in pasta, I guess, if you want to. The same with this dish here. You could put it over like cauliflower rice. What I do with it, I just eat it with a fork and a spoon and maybe a low carb tortilla. But it's up to you what you want to do with it. Okay, that's cooking down there. Now here's what we're going to do here is going to add this cacao powder or cocoa powder, however you want to say it, and the golden monk fruit sweetener. If you ain't got golden monk fruit sweetener, you ain't got to put that in there. Yeah, actually, if you don't want to put the cacao powder in there, you don't have to, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be my pasilla pork. So, and no, this is not mole. Because I know people, oh, this is making mole. No, this is not mole. Mole is totally different. So we'll put that in there. And you don't think it's going to taste like chocolate. It's not going to taste like chocolate at all. It just gives it a nice, rich flavor that chocolate does. And the sweetener takes the bite out of it. Alright, look at that. It's looking good. Give that a good mix up. And what I'm going to do now, just take this, half a cup water, put that in there, and that's going to thin down the sauce because it's got to cook down a little bit to finish cooking the pork. And so by the time it cooks down, the pork is done and tender, the squash is done, the sauce is going to be thicker. And it only takes, like, after I put in that water, mix it all up, 5 to 8 minutes, 10 tops is all you want to cook this, or else it's going to overcook. And then the meat's going to start getting dry out. All the fat's going to come out of that meat, going to be dried out, and just overcooked. So no more than 10 minutes max, depending on your pork. You just want to make sure that your pork is done and the squash is tender. And so with that, I'm going to take my spoon and just taste it for salt and spice. A little salt in there. I always start with a little, because you can put in, but you can't take out. that there. Give it a taste. That's it, folks. I'm going to pick this lid here, toss on there, turn it down 2 notches. I had this on high. I put it down to 5. It's electric stove, I know. And then, like I said, let it cook for 8 to 10 minutes max. And then after all that's done, I'm going to come back. I'm going to have a dish up for you and show you what it all looks like. And then we're going to taste this. All right, see you in just a few seconds. Okay, folks, I've cooked it down to the thickness I like it. It is like that, because as it cools down, it is going to get a little bit thicker. And so now to finish it off, I thought I'd come back and show you how I finish this off. What I got here is I just got the zest. It's a tablespoon of orange zest. Orange zest off of 1 orange. I'm just going to sprinkle that across the top there. I'm going to mix this up in here, and then it's going to cook for 3 more minutes. No more, 3 more minutes. If any longer than that, at a high continuous heat, the acids in the orange zest is going to get rancid, and it's going to give it a really strong acidic taste, and we don't want that. We just want that nice hint of orange in there. And so no more than 3 minutes, and I'm going to shut it off, come back, plate it up, and show you what it looks like. All right, see you in just a few seconds. Okay, folks, so here it is. This is my pasilla pork. It's the sauce. As you can see, I garnished it. I made a little crema. It's just whipping cream. If you can get the Spanish style sour cream, the Mexican style, that's what I suggest, because it's not as tart and sour as, say, like a daisy. It's a more milder taste, but that's what you want to do. That's why I serve this. Just top it with a little green onion. And so now, there you go. Get a good view of it, my camera lady there. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and take a bite of it and see what it tastes like. Get a little bit of everything. I mean, you can taste just a hint of the orange in there from the zest. Just a hint of the chocolate from the cacao powder. Just barely the sweetness, but most of it is just the flavor of the tomatoes, the onions, the garlic, the pork, the squash. Everything is blended so good. And then top it off with just the little tartness of the sour cream, the crema with the green onion. And folks, this is a wonderful dish. You can serve this on, like I said, cauliflower rice, or this is even good for non-keto people. Even if you're not doing keto, you can do this. You can put it on rice. You can put this stuff on pasta or whatever you want to do. But like I said, the best way to eat it is in a plate like this. Maybe you got some low-carb tortillas. If you're not keto, corn tortillas would be the best. But other than that, folks, that is my pasilla chicken. Pork. This is pork, not chicken. Big difference. And so also, now that we're through with the pork, I want to introduce you to my next video. These are my spicy turmeric pickled eggs. This is going to be my next video. These things are fantastic. I just made these up last night, so they are going to be sitting in the fridge for about 5 days to get nice and pickled. And so when they are pickled, that is when I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make them, and we'll taste test one of them. So yeah, folks, that's going to be my next video. Turmeric, spicy pickled eggs. The turmeric is such a healthy spice to put in there, plus everything else. My pasilla pork. Cook it, try it, taste it, share it with your friends, family. Let me know how you like it. If you don't like it, or whatever you want to do, just do it. So until next time, folks, thank you for joining Watch Keep Cooking Willis. I'm Willis. God bless and good eats.